Welcome to the 2350 Effect. The 2350 Effect starts.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to 2350 Effect. I'm your co-host, Damian Kinsey, and I'm always joined by my co-host collaborator, Dr. Tanya Farron. Dr. Farron, tell people a little bit about yourself. You have had a busy week.
I certainly have. So I'm excited to be here again on Sunday evening with Damian Kinsey, as we are together here on Sundays. I am the owner of Creative Living Ideas, and I, along with Damian, host some amazing events virtually, as well as have professional development, and have written 9 different books. And so love this whole publishing conversation we're going to have tonight, as well as collaborating with Damian. I just want to say, Damian, though, I was loving our intro. You have done a spectacular job with the intro. I appreciate you doing that so much. Anybody that's put anything like that together knows that that takes a lot of time and energy and effort. So thank you, Damian, for really highlighting all of the amazing things and guests that we've been able to have with our summits and experiences, as well as on the effect.
Thank you so much. And the King is in the audience. Happy birthday, Nick, who is our guest, who's going to be on the show shortly. And thank you so much for that, Dr. Farron. It does mean a lot. It's a lot of work that does go into producing and putting those things together. And, I appreciate it. All right. So we do have a guest coming up. Do you want to introduce our guest?
Sure. One second. Oh, I'm sorry. You wanted me to introduce now.
Yeah.
Okay. So our guest today is Nick. She goes by Nick often. She goes by Nick, the gifted bipolar, the brilliant guided. I'm gonna say that wrong. Her company, brilliant guided writers.
Bipolar writer.
Yeah. And so Nick Angai Galinda is our guest today, and dear friend of ours, as well as member of the 2350 network. So I was blessed to be able to be on her show last Thursday and talk about my book. And I'm excited to have her on our show as one of our network members, and really helping highlight her and what she's doing in the publishing world. So let's bring Nick on up.
And welcome, Nick, the gifted bipolar writer, aka Nicole, aka Nick.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. Yes, I know. So my name, Nicole Angai Galinda, is such a mouthful. But all my family and friends call me Nick, just NIC. And my son is Nikolai, NICK. Incidentally, he left my house about 11 minutes ago. I'm like, I gotta get on a show. Bye. Thanks for the birthday cake. Love you. That was the end of that. So yes, the company is Guiding Brilliant Writers Publishing House. And I joined the network a couple of months ago. Oh my gosh, we're already in June. Wait a minute, I'm supposed to know this. Today's my birthday. I joined at the beginning of the year. At the time, it's just really flown by. I had the pleasure of knowing Damian for a while. Tanya, I met last year, and have so many good friends in the network. And now that I have stepped away from full time and I'm running my company full time, I have time. So I knew that, I want to be able to invest and commit to whatever I join. And now that I joined the 2350 network, it's been an incredible experience. Not just my friends, I've met so many new people. There have been so many collaborations going on. Um, and like Tanya said, she was on the person behind the pen with me last week. And this is just the power of honestly collaborating, and I love it.
I love that. Thank you. And happy birthday, Nick.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's your birthday month, right? I mean, it's a birthday month. You get to celebrate all of June in my book. So just keep on celebrating life.
Today is actually the day.
Today's the day.
The day. Today's the day. And it's funny because I know when we set this up, my son was planning to work. So he would normally come on a Sunday evening for dinner. And I thought, okay, well, I'm not doing anything anyway. I'm like, let me do this. And it just turned out that he got out of work. So I was like, all right, just go on over. And I ended up cooking. Never mind, it was my birthday. I don't care. But I tried a new baked mac and cheese recipe. It came out awesome. So we ate, and then I had tres leche cake and dulce de leche ice cream, and now I have coffee because I'm like, I'm going to pass out on the show.
Well, it sounds like you've had a lovely birthday, and it's always wonderful to have your family around you. I'm glad your son was able to be with you. I will have to say, I like that, Randy. She may as well. Why not?
Really, Randy? Really?
I would like to say that you're going to have to share this recipe with Damien. We'll see if it matches up to his father's mac and cheese, because apparently his father's mac and cheese is world famous in Damien's eyes.
Oh my goodness. Well, I need that recipe because I literally hustled and was like, give me an easy mac and cheese recipe.
Oh no, he's elite. He is elite.
I want that then. I do. I just want to say,
he did it on a grill before. He's elite.
Amazing.
You going to share that recipe? No. He's like, no, that's a family recipe. Ain't going nowhere.
I think it's under lock and key. It's top secret. I'm pretty certain. Yeah.
Oh goodness.
So Nick, you did bring a guest. You want to introduce her before we get into Laugh Call Tact?
Yes, I do. I'm so excited to have her, and thank you for giving me this opportunity to bring her up with us. So this is Dr. Laquita Parks. I met her. Wow, so I've kind of been seeing her around, mostly on Facebook. She's there primarily. She's here on LinkedIn, but we're kind of like opposites in terms of the platforms. And I was doing this book, We Choose to Be More Than Our Diagnoses, and I saw a post of hers about her chronic illness. And I just reached out on a whim. And I said, I know you're a publisher too. Would you do me the honor of, putting a chapter in my book? And she said, yeah, of course. I was like, oh my goodness, this is amazing. So I asked her to come on tonight, really to talk about her, because she's become quite a colleague and a good friend, and I can't help but feel in many ways like she's a mentor to me, being that I'm like new to this. So thank you.
Welcome to the 2350 Effect, Dr. Parks.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Hi, Nick. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. So I'm tickled to introduce you to my amazing community. I'm a member of the 2350 network. As you heard, this is Damien. This is Dr. Farhan. And all these people in the audience, I know them, they're friends. Some of them are co-authors in the book with us. And a big part of the reason I joined the network when I joined was just this. I knew that I would be among people who they're just cool to hang out with, professionals, yes, but fun, and would just do everything in their power to uplift each other. And then I met you. Then I met you, Laquita. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. The last couple of months, I know that I was picking your brain here and there. Wait, I don't know about this. How do I do that? And you're like, just ask away. You have questions, just ask away. And that means a lot to me. A lot of times people in the same spaces don't, or same industries, sorry,
Mhm.
um, you know, they could hold everything to their chest, and you didn't do that. And I felt that I wanted to bring you up and honor you tonight for that.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. You know, when just to introduce myself, my name is Dr. Laquita Parks, and I am the CEO and founder of PayProV Publishing. And PayProV means pain, progress, victory, because I believe without pain, there is no progress. And without progress, there can be no victory. So I help people take their stories from a thought to a realization. And I absolutely love helping people with their stories and I believe that we should not be hoarders of our information. There are a lot of people who are. I experienced the same thing, Nick, when I started. Um, August will be 5 years. I'll celebrate my 5 year anniversary with Pay Per View Publishing, and it has been quite the journey. It really has been quite the journey. I have published over 150 solo book projects for people throughout the country. And I have also worked with almost 500. I'm fudging that number a little bit, probably like 450 people to help them take their stories from a thought to a realization. And it has been quite the journey. But Nick, I help people. I don't mind answering questions because I remember when I started and I asked questions and I was told, "Oh no, I can't help you. We're in the same business or we're competitors." And it should not be. It should not be. So thank you for asking. I thank you so much for asking. I think you are phenomenal. I absolutely love what you do. So I'm just grateful to be a part. I'm very humbled and to share that part of my story. I don't typically share that part of my story in my writing. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to do that.
Of course.
Thank you for
Thank,
introducing yourself. Yep. Go ahead, Damien.
thank you. Thanks for being here. If you haven't joined us before, we always start to show off really with. So we always start with a laugh, call, or text. Laugh, call, text is that thing in the last 7 days that stood out for you, that made you either laugh out loud, get on the phone and call somebody. Yes, people, call people, or text somebody. So I'll start it off to kick out to get the flow of it. My laugh, call, text this week is we had social networking night with the 2350 network, and our theme was a movie, and we did Back to the Future. And it was funny because you start looking back on the show, and we were talking about, oh, we're gonna do what movie is it? Is it gonna be a movie that people know? And for like a month and a half, I was like, you're gonna know the movie. Everybody's gonna know the movie. So it was so funny when we was having a conversation around the trivia of the movie, Back to the Future. So that is my laugh, my call, my text for the week.
Absolutely. And love that. We had the best time. So, those of you that don't know much about the 2350 network, we'll fill you in probably halfway through the show here so you can learn a little bit more about the 2350 network. But we have great social events about every quarter, not mandatory to come to, but it was a good 30 minutes hanging out together, playing some trivia on Back to the Future. So if you haven't watched that movie, check it out. I would have to say, Damien knows I have been kind of on this work vacation retreat. I don't know what you want to call it for like the last 2.5 weeks. And I have had a lot of laughs with a lot of really great friends, and people are always asking me, how do you balance all of this? I put it in my calendar. I organize my life. I organize my social life as well as my work life, but had a great time this past weekend with my kids and my grand dogs on the dock. And the one she is a puppy. Her name is Lizzie. She is named after the Queen of England that passed away, Queen Lizzie, but she is crazy. And we put a mermaid life jacket on her. She has her own doggy life jacket, but she's 70 pounds, y'all. And she thinks she should sleep in your lap when she's tired. And she wears her mermaid life jacket because she keeps chasing after anything that's in the water. A leaf, you throw a line into fish. She's a crazy girl. She's crazy. But we laughed a lot at her this weekend and had a great time together. How about you, Nick? Laugh, call, or text?
Right. First of all, I'm sorry. I kind of hijacked your show. I feel bad. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good.
Don't
So
worry.
yeah, that was a good one. We literally did, I think it was the person behind the pen, right? And then we split and went to do that. And oh boy, that took me way back and made me realize how old I really am. I'm like, wow, really? And um, thank goodness some of those trivia questions were, in some sense, you were able to almost do a process of elimination. I'm like, I don't remember that. I don't. What was the kid's dad's name? Wait, what? So goodness, Leslie was there, and Leslie she was just nailing them, and I was just like, well,
It
Leslie said,
was.
well, Leslie said. But it was certainly a lot of fun, definitely.
Dr. Parks, how about a laugh, call, or text from you this week?
I think my laugh would be my granddaughter. My granddaughter stayed overnight with me, and last night she's 4. She just turned 4, and I said, "Gabby, do you want to help Nana clean out her closet?" And she said, "Yes." So I had a lot of clothes hangers, and I said, "Let's put them in a basket." Well, I have problems with my legs, so Gabby put the basket on top of on top of her stool, on top of a box, and put it right in my walkway. And I said, "Gabby, you have to move this because Nana will fall." And she looked at me. She said, "Well, I'm trying to help you, Nana." I said, "But Nana's gonna fall." She said, "I'm trying to help you, Nana." And all I could do was laugh and push the basket out the way. And then as I pushed it, I tripped over the basket almost into the closet. And she goes, "Sorry, Nana."
Aww,
So
Oh,
that was my laugh. She's a hoot.
that's cute. I love
sweet.
it. That's cute. Super
Yeah.
fun.
Thank you for sharing that.
Mhm.
And I'm glad that you're okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah.
Me too. Me too.
So, all right. So I'm a little bit under the weather, folks, but
Oh,
definitely gonna power through this one because we do have a good conversation here, and I have a lot of questions. Like I just like want to be curious to know, um, what it like because I know we do the summits. What is your process on putting people together to make these books? And also, that's for you, Nick, and also Dr. Parks. What is it for you to say I'm going to be a part of someone else's project when you have like written or help people do so many other projects? So we could start with, I guess we can start with you, Dr. Parks, first, and then we could get to Nick because Nick is she's a family member here. So,
That's a good question. I've published anthologies where I'm the visionary, and I have published anthologies where people have hired me to be the publisher on their anthologies, and they've also asked me to write a chapter in the anthology that I'm publishing. It's always interesting, always fun because I get a chance to tell additional pieces of my story. So when someone asks me, and I've been asked several times to be a part of somebody's anthology and not be the publisher, and I'm okay with that. It gives me an opportunity, number one, to network and get to know other people in the same field that I'm in. And our stories, trust me, our stories are the same. We're we people are people, so our stories are the same. But when I'm asked to be a part of somebody else's anthology, it's sometimes a challenge. It pushes me to move the needle a little bit more because my focus as a publisher, the focus is usually on everybody else's story. But when you're writing in somebody else's anthology and you're just the writer, then you have time to focus a little bit more on your own story. So I think I was impressed with my own chapter because
I
this
was
is the
too.
first time that I wrote to that magnitude of my own story and just kind of diving into the different diagnoses. So it's very interesting. I like either way. But when I say yes to somebody else's anthology, I'm just doing that part, and I don't have to worry about doing any of the other work. So, so that's my answer.
I like that. Thank you for sharing that. And you're saying like it's just your story and it's relatable. We're gonna get into that in a little bit, like how it intertwines for those people that don't know.
Okay.
Nick, for you, the question I asked for you was, how do you like pick the people to be in your anthology, and what goes into your process of doing that?
Um, wow. I'm like, can I pass this one back to Laquito because do you think she's probably on like anthology number 20? This one for me is going to be number 6, I think. So what is the process? That's a good question. I come up with a vision for a book. I create the cover first, which a lot of solo people create a cover at the end because I did a lot of research and learning as I've gone along. I personally like to create the cover because I feel when I put out a co-author school, the cover attracts people, right? Um, whether it's the aesthetic, of course, the title, and there's always a theme. Yes, but um, I advertise, of course, social, and people do reach out to me that way. But for example, let's take the diagnosis book that's coming up. I have friends that have diagnoses, so I would reach out to them first. Just in my travels, I came across Laquita's post speaking about her chronic illness, so I reached out to her. Um, the whole publisher to publisher part is different. Not everybody would feel comfortable, perhaps, to reach out to another publisher and say, "Hey, come be a part of my project." Or, like she said, nor would a publisher feel comfortable to go be a part of somebody else's project. Um, so that's pretty much how I take it. It depends on the book, Damien. I might, for example, there are groups. Like if you leverage LinkedIn correctly, there are groups out there with diagnoses and mental health. Just as there are books groups to promote your book. So I do a little bit of research about people, but honestly, I've got to the 6th book now, and we're half and half. So 7 of the writers are returning either for the second or third time to write with me, and 7 are new writers. So, and of the new writers, yeah, every single one was referred. They're all referred. That most, I want to say 99% of my business comes through referrals from a writer.
That's
Did I
amazing.
answer the question?
Yeah, of course. Of course. So I'm going to ask this question kind of to both of you, but I've got a lot of other things I've been jotting down here that I'm thinking about. You know, you sort of touched on it a little bit, but oftentimes people talk about two women collaborating with one another. You know, breeds competition amongst them, and they don't work well together. Things like that. I find that's the opposite. In my world, the way that I connect with people. But tell me about that. How do you two plan to sort of lift each other up and support each other? You're both publishers. You're both in the same, place. Dr. Parks, you've got a few more years of experience, full time probably than Nick does. But how do you guys plan to support one another with this journey? And either one of you can go first. Whoever feels most ready to answer.
Okay, that's a good question. First of all, to answer the first part of your or comment on the first part of your question about women working together, I've seen that in a lot of groups, but I bring me to the table, and I don't get involved in all that. I bring my personality, I bring my honesty, I bring who I am. I am a woman of faith, and I carry myself that way. I don't get involved in a whole lot of unnecessary drama. And for me, I set the tone at the beginning. So, and that's I think that's how I've been successful in being a part of somebody else's anthology and being the visionary for my own anthology, or somebody hiring me for their anthology. I've enjoyed it. It's been a good process. Nick has been very not drama. She's been very not pushy. I don't like there are some people who are very pushy. That doesn't work well for my personality. I don't like the stress or the I want you to do it, the pressure sales. I don't like that at all. Nick has been, even with her meetings, she's been, you don't have to come. And I'll say, I'll try and make it because I'm busy. I'm really, really busy. But I like to be a person of my word. I like to do what I say I'm going to do. And if I can do more, I'll do more. But as far as collaborating, I think collaboration is key. I think somebody else, I heard somebody else say it. I don't know who said it, but I think Nick, you may have said it. There are a lot of publishers. There are a lot of people in this world who need to tell their stories, and I can't do them all. And I mentioned this to Nick. I don't want to. There are people that I won't work with. There are books that I won't publish, and I'm honest about that. And so, and the same thing with Nick. So I'm open to help her to get where she needs to be. And I'm okay with that because I believe that what God has for me is for me. And he's proven that to me time and time again. So it's always collaboration over competition.
Thank you, Dr. Parks. That's amazing. I love that. Nick, how about you? I mean, I feel like I already know how you feel about it, but I would like the world to hear.
Well said. It's so well said. And that's the thing. We haven't known each other very long. I'll tell you that right now. We really haven't. And, through, I think, us both being open people, transparent people, and I want to say kind people, because yes, I'm going to say it, that I'm kind. I stated what I needed in a diplomatic way. She replied to me in a diplomatic way. And from our first conversation, I really felt she wasn't dismissing me. She was, validating my work, willing to answer the questions to the best of her ability. And I do understand what she's saying because I feel the same way. There are certain people that I will not work with, and I haven't come across that person yet. Not good. That's not good. But if I do, I wouldn't. Like she said, she's a woman of faith. There are certain genres that she just won't publish. And there are certain genres that are not within my scope just yet, if you know what I'm saying, because I'm still growing. And that, it was her actually. I had a question for her about a client. I wasn't sure about something with pricing. And she was so upfront with me. And then I said, okay, well, I'm going to tell him I spoke to another publisher. She's like, no, you're telling me you spoke with your colleague. And I love that with her, I don't feel small. I don't feel lesser than. And she's in this project. And she hasn't said one thing to me. Like, oh, you should do it this way, or you should do it that way, or, and it's healthy. And I always wonder, Laquita, if part of it is that, do you ever hear that expression, familiarity breeds contempt?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I have.
And we don't know each other that well yet, right? And we are met on a professional level and respect one another's work very much because we know what it takes to do the work.
Yes.
So there's a lot of admiration for the work that we're doing. It doesn't matter if she's further along than I am. And what I love about that is that as the personal side grows, we already know each other's values in terms of work. That says a lot. Sometimes what I've noticed, and I've been very fortunate because I have great friends on this platform that I, talk to on a daily basis, that I met people personally, and as I grew into knowing them professionally, we connected. But there have been doubly more that I've met personally, and as I grew professionally, they didn't grow with me.
Right.
And I don't mean grow with me professionally. They didn't grow with me personally. And it's not a good or a bad thing. We parted ways.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you, ladies. I do believe there is enough for everyone, right? In the universe, there is enough for everyone. Damien, can I ask one more question?
Sure, you got as many questions
I always go on a roll. I can't help it. I got my list here. So, Dr. Parks, you have been in business for 5 years, you're stating, or have
Mhm.
stated.
Mhm.
Congratulations on that. That's amazing. You said you've done 150 projects and worked with about 450 people. Do you
Yes.
have a team that helps support you? How do you go through this? I've written my own books. I could consider myself as well a publisher. I have my own, graphic designer as well as editor and all of that sort of thing. So what do you have in your wheelhouse to offer people?
So to answer your question, yes, I do have a team. And it last year, I'll give you an example. Last year was an interesting year. I worked on 4 anthologies at the same time.
Oh my gosh.
One at the same time. Our journey from girls to women, our journey from boys to men, and then I did 2 our women of the waiting room and our anthology and devotional. And with those 4 projects alone, I was working with 80 authors at the same time.
Oh my goodness.
And so and I was the visionary on the our journey from boys to men and boys to women. I mean girls to women. I was the visionary on there, but the publisher on all 4. And I didn't realize until I started with you have to be organized to get it done, but I didn't realize how many until after the fact, because when you're doing it, you're just doing it. You just
Right.
know what needs to be done, and you're just doing it. I have editors that help me. I also have content creators like Nick for the anthologies. I agree. I design all of my covers. The Women of the Waiting Room, the visionary is an amazing talent herself, so she designed the covers for that. But as I'm going, I have a team that knows what my vision is. And I work, it's difficult when you work with people who don't know your vision. So whoever you're working with, you have to be on the same page. They have to know your vision and they have to buy into your vision. So I can't work with people who haven't bought into helping people take their stories from a thought to a realization. I'm a visionary, and I can see what the end's going to look like. Sometimes it's kind of cloudy how we're going to get there, but I know we're going to get there. So just follow the pathway.
Nice.
So it's it's very easy for me. I've done it for a while and I love it. It doesn't get overwhelming sometimes. Yes, it does. But I have a team, and of course, like Nick, it depends on what the vision is. It depends on what you want. It's easier when you're doing your own anthology because it's your vision. And if you're doing it with, if you're the publisher and you're doing it with somebody else, it's their vision and you're helping them carry out their vision. So working on the team, I have content creators, I have editors, I have people to help market, and doing a lot of that myself. It helps. So a one-woman show, but not necessarily a one-woman show. So there are people that I have that help, and it makes things go smoothly. So I can honestly say, in the 5 years and the people that I've worked with and the books that I've published, I'm proud of the work that I've done. I'm proud of the work that my team has done, and I'm looking forward to doing much more. I'm proud of the projects that I've been a part of. They've been some beautiful, beautiful projects, Nick's project included. So it's been it's fun. It's not easy. Nick will tell you it's not easy, but it is fun. And the thing for me, the most important part is that I'm helping people to heal. So that's what matters. I use my own story for that. So I connect well with people and their stories. And my goal is publishing made easy. So pain, progress, victory. That's the story of my life. So that's the story of a lot of our lives. And it's easy when you're helping people to tell their story and not telling them that their story needs to look another way. So that's been the caveat for me, helping them understand that this is your story. I'm here to help you tell your story in the way that you want to tell your story. And so that's the part that I like. And it helps me to be more compassionate and more patient with people because I know their stories. And I know Nick feels the same way. When you look at somebody and you don't know their story, you say, this person has an attitude, or this person is crazy. What in the world's going on with them? But then when you read their story, you go, oh wow, you just kind of want to take them and you just kind of want to, pat
Yeah,
their shoulder and let them
right.
cry on your shoulder, because now you understand why their level of crazy
Sure.
is the way their level of crazy is. So that's
Sure.
my story and I'm sticking to it.
I love it. I love it. I'm so glad you have all that support. Nick, I know you just put out a social media post recently about adding some members to your newly born company. So you want to tell people about that?
Sure. Um, so, I keep saying new, and a few people keep telling me, stop saying that. You're not new to this. And in a way, yes, I was running the Gifted Bipolar Writer, which was not a publishing company, mind you. It was more social media management, and I did that for a few people and graphics and such. But then it turned into me publishing my first anthology end of 23. And I realized that I loved it. So I kept publishing under the Gifted Bipolar Writer. And then beginning of February, I left my job and I opened my LLC, Guiding Brilliant Writers. I did not expect that in the first year that I would be publishing 8 books. I'm like, what? And I'm grateful, don't get me wrong. But so much of what Laquita is saying is identifying and really hitting me, and I'm giddy over the conversation. It's finally, I feel like there's somebody that really is speaking my language and understands what I'm feeling. When I did the trilogy with 36 and 3 books, people were like, you're nuts. I didn't know what I was doing. I tell you, well, sorry, I really didn't. But I was like, I'm going to get there. And I did.
Mm-hmm.
And now here I am celebrating my 4-month anniversary, and I've hired a virtual assistant. She's not full time. She will work for me as needed. And I hired an editor for the solo books. But my anthologies are my babies. I will never not edit the anthologies. I pride myself on meeting every single author one-on-one for an hour and a half. We do a read through together, and that's how I connect. And if you ask me, that's the reason for the success of my business. And that's why I'm getting personal referrals. These 62 people behind me have brought me people and have solo books that they want to publish. So I'm not even out there really marketing. But I think that that's where I'm happy, because so many people are growing with me.
Mm-hmm.
Now with the audiobooks, and I will be able to hire voiceover artists. Like, everybody in my circle is gonna get a piece of the pie. Like,
I
how
love
can I
it.
not want that?
Right? Right.
Yes, exactly.
Well, and I'm going to tell you, as an educator, I've been an educator for a long time. As an educator, every educator says, I'm going to write a book about this. I'm going to write a book. And everybody's got a book inside of them. So you guys are going to be busy for a long time.
Well, I do hope so. I think that we both will be. And, like you said about the collaboration, Laquita is doing a book on veterans. And I saw it, and I know quite a few. And I reposted her post on my publishing page for the co-authors call.
Yeah.
I'm not doing a book on veterans. Is it going to hurt me to share that another publisher is? No.
No.
Right? I'm doing legacy in December. She may come across some people and say, oh, you know what? That's her 3rd annual legacy book. Maybe you'd like to, speak with her. So, like I said, I have worked with 2 other publishers before I published in their books. And something she said stood out to me as well. One of them, I felt very nervous. I wasn't writing my chapter the way she wanted it. And it really bothered me that, it was a certain almost tone that she wanted. And it was stripping my story of my essence. And that's why I'm so adamant about holding space for people to keep their voices. I have to learn something professional. It's not going to be messed up in the spelling and the grammar, and it's going to be all crappy and everything, obviously. But, and if your story is all over the place, I'm going to tell you I'm confused. But, I want it in your voice. And, yeah.
Nice.
Sorry.
No, you're good. Good stuff.
So you are currently writing a book, and I know you're doing the person behind the pen. Can you tell people what the book is about?
Sure. So the next anthology launched in July 1st is We Choose to Be More Than Our Diagnoses. We have 16 writers, including myself, and we have every single diagnosis you can think of. We have an international figure skater slash beauty pageant queen who is diabetic 1 and wears her Omnipod monitor to her pageants. We have a couple of writers born with cerebral palsy, a couple who had terrible accidents that left them either with traumatic brain injuries, paraplegic, people with PTSD, ADHD, CPTSD, and Laquita could touch on her story briefly if she'd like. And of course, I've made no, I don't hide the fact that I'm bipolar. And so this particular book, it takes on a very personal meaning for me because I speak out very heavily on mental health. And so therefore being able to pull this book together, um, the back of the book, I know it says, and I thought about it too, like maybe it being too like, but I'm like, no, it's just too bad. And the back of the book says, we are not your stigma. And that's basically my message. We are not your stigma. Oh, that's the book.
I love that.
How about you, Laquita?
So my part in the book, it's I'm I'm the victim of medical childhood trauma, and from that, for at the age of 4, it left me crippled for life. But it also left me with connective tissue diseases, including lupus and including fibromyalgia and lymphedema, and it isn't an easy life. And I don't know a day without pain since I was 4 years old. So I share that story in my chapter, and I kind of start at the beginning and give some tidbits until from there to where I am now. And in my story, I break down because when you tell people pain, when you say you've been in pain, people will say, "Oh, okay, I know what that's like. I've broken my arm, or I've broken my leg, or I have back pain." But very few people understand what it's like to be in pain 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 51 years. And that's my story. So in my story, I break down the minutes, the hours, the seconds, the days, the weeks, just to give people an understanding of what my pain looks like. There's not a break in it. It's not, okay, well, you know what, I can go to bed and I sleep. No, pain wakes me up out of my sleep. But doing what I do with PayProV Publishing and helping people during those times, I don't think about my pain. It gives me something else to think about, and I'm helping other people. So it's easy when you can relate to another person's story. I don't have to be bipolar, or I don't have to be a drug addict or an alcoholic to understand your story, because we all have been touched by all of that. My mother was an alcoholic. My sister has been on drugs. So I've experienced what that feels like. And so I share that, and I share that story so that other people can know that no matter what, you can still do what you need to do. So when Nick asked me about being a part of it, and I saw it more than my diagnosis, it didn't take a rocket scientist to know that I should say yes. So it gave me an opportunity to share a little bit more of my story. I've written and published my own books, including my own personal memoir. And this just gives me an opportunity to do a little bit more of my story. So it's a wonderful thing. I think there are so many people who are going to be touched by our stories, because oftentimes people don't know that there is healing on the other side. They don't know what it looks like. And so the people of the book were more than our diagnosis. That's the other side. It doesn't mean we're not still going through. It just means that we're on the other side, or we're in it we're in the thick of it, and you can be in the thick of it too, and you can get to a better quality of life. And that's what's important for me. So it's just another part. Nick has allowed me to share my story, which gives me another part of the fight for me.
Thank you for that, and thank you, Nick, for allowing her to share a story. Thank you for being open enough to share a story. Kinga has a question. How did you possibly juggle that? You must have it going like a well-oiled machine. I'm not sure exactly what she's saying, but I think she's I think she's possibly, Kinga, correct me if I'm wrong, talking about juggling life and work and doing things. So
And
that's
maybe
where I'm going to go with.
possibly the 80 authors you were working with.
Yeah.
Oh, for me,
Yeah.
for me or Nick, or for me. Oh, oh, you know what? It was actually, it was very interesting. And like Nick, I do. It's publishing made easy, but also what makes me successful is a personal connection. So every single person, I talk to every single person. I read every single story, every story I've published. I get it before any editor gets it. I read it, I offer feedback, and I do coaching and development. That's very important for me. How I do that, number one, is I don't schedule everything on top of each other. So it has to be spread out, and the timeline matters. So we don't start today and we're through in 30 days. No, we don't do that. We spread it out. We make sure that we have enough time so that every author's story matters, and they have an opportunity to get through their story, and to make sure that it's aligning with the theme of the book. And some people need more help than others. So, there are some who have published before, they got it, they know what they're doing, and they're the easy ones. There are some who've never published before. In the last anthology, there were 25 women, and 15 of them were new authors. So the 10, they were good. The 15, they needed some, and then there were five or eight that needed special hand holding. We got through it. All of the books. I am a 15-time international best-selling author. And so most of the books, more than half of the books that I've published have become number one Amazon best-selling or international bestsellers. So we take the time to give them what they need and make sure that we produce a product that they're proud of and that connects well with their audience. So it's a lot of work. Anthologies are not easy because you're doing one book with multiple personalities and you have to make it read as one. So, but yeah, I did. It was a lot of work, and I spent a lot of nights on the telephone with certain people, making sure that they didn't. I brought them back from the edge. Some of them, I can't do it. Okay, I can't do it. I can't do it. This story is, I can't do it. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Your story's fine. It's fine. It's beautiful. You can do it. The best thing is not letting them read somebody else's story before the book comes out, because they always think somebody else's story is better than their story. I never think like that. Your story is different. It's not better. It's not worse than anybody else's. It's different. Your story is your story, and we all have a story. So that's pretty much my process. I don't advise working with 80 authors at a time. It isn't something that I do. It isn't something that I do. Last year, I just found myself in that. This year, I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 anthologies within the last 3 months. But I was not the visionary on the projects. I was just the publisher. So that made it easy too. But it's been a beautiful, beautiful process. I won't give nothing for my journey now.
I think you gave so much in that. Like, even that, if people caught it, you're writing one book, multiple different personalities, and it has to read as one.
Absolutely.
I think that is so important for people to understand when you're writing, that it has to tell a story within a story within a story within a story that keeps on.
Yes, it does. It does. Can I say something right quick?
Of course.
Sometimes when we go through things in our past or in a job, I used to tell my children all the time, be a sponge, whether you like this or not, learn something. And all of that, when I went back to school 20 years after I graduated from high school, I went back to college, and I went to college, and there was a learning team environment. I became the class representative and the team leader. So on our team, and one of the things that I had to do then, and this was 15, 20 years ago, one of the things I had to do then was take our group project. We all did it individually, but we had to present it as one. And it was my job. I took the job to make sure that it flowed. And as I do it with the anthologies, it brings all that back, and it's like, wow, this is what I was doing. I didn't know why I was doing this 20 years ago, and now here it is. It's come full circle. So it has the read as one voice. So the publisher, Nick, is making sure that our stories are our stories. Each chapter is individual, but it reads, the theme of it reads that, and it fits within the parameters of her book. And it's a beautiful book. I haven't read the stories, but I've been seeing everything, and I've been hearing Nick's and her interviews. It's a beautiful, beautiful story. And I'm just excited to be a part of it and to read everybody else's story. I've been sharing it, and it's like, wow, when people say, when you say I'm more than my diagnosis, that's big, because sometimes we look at what we are as opposed to who we are. So I'm excited, and I continue to be humbled by her just simply asking me to be a part. I've worked with some amazing people. I have had the pleasure of working with some amazing people and be a part of some amazing projects. I've worked with other publishers, friends who are now publishing themselves. And I've been really, really blessed to be a part and to be mentors to a lot of them, and to see where they're going. And hey, when you tell your children, I want you to be better than me, and so when you see people who you used to work with, or who you started and you help them, and see that they're doing some amazing things, and it's like, okay, that's good. That's good. Everybody has their way. That's pretty good. So I'm honored to be seen as a mentor, and I thank you for saying that, Nick.
Absolutely, my pleasure. And I again, I want to thank Damien. I want to thank Tanya for bringing us on, and actually the fact that I got to have this conversation with Laquita here. I have already learned so much, including don't let them read each other's stories, which I actually have them all together, and that's some good advice right there for me. Because actually that did happen with one of my authors freaking out a little bit when she read the other chapters. So, and then I just want to touch on the last part you said. So part of my services, I mean, because like I offer everything start to finish. So part of that is, you can have me train you to self-publish. So you will self-publish on Amazon on your own bookshelf. You'll create your account with me and we'll do it. People say, well, are you nuts? You're the publisher. Why would you want to do that? Because some people want to publish more than one book, and then they want to publish the rest of their lives. They're paying me to train them. But the very first publisher I worked with, when I came out with my very first anthology, one of the original co-authors, I had put a post up on Facebook, actually, and she wrote that I took everything that I learned and stole the publisher's ideas and went on my way. I'm like, there's room for more than one publisher in this world. And, I kind of felt to myself, and right now I'll tell you, there are people who have self-published. You don't know them, but I have taught them to do it, because that's not for me to talk about. But what I will say to you is, when I see somebody doing better than me, or not even better than me, they're just doing what they want to do and they're happy, and I know I had a part to doing it, how could I not be happy? Like, if I'm not, that tells me I'm a miserable person. So I don't know. Just saying. So, all right. Thank you.
Thank you. No, go ahead.
So, my last question is, who needs to read this book or should read this book when it comes out? It's in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, July 1st.
Soon.
It's right around the corner. Who should read it? I think everybody should read it, to be honest. But I have been saying, and I'll say it again, I love that people support me and the publishing company and they buy the book. I mean, it's very appreciated. But more than that, I want people to buy the book because they want to read some of the stories in there, and or buy it for somebody that you know would benefit from it. Because at the end of the day, whatever the book sells for and a couple dollars royalty comes in, the important part here, really and truly, is that it gets into the hands of somebody that's going to benefit from it. And I want each writer's um, journey and time and love and effort that they put into is honored. And the only way to honor that is not with a seal, it's actually with reading their story. Um, that's what I would like to see happen. So there are many, many, many diagnoses. And even if your diagnosis is not in the book, there cross, diagnoses, symptoms crossover, and under the umbrella of all physical, emotional, whatever is mental health, period. And this is Men's Mental Health Month. And our mental health governs so much of the things that we can't control with our own diagnoses that we have to treat with medicine. It's up here, it's your heart, it's your feet. So um, I think anybody reading this book would benefit.
Thank you. Dr. Farah, you have anything?
I'm excited for the book to come out, Nick. Again, it's important that we are shedding light on, mental health, illnesses, things like that. A lot of times there's illnesses we don't see, that we don't understand. Like Dr. Parks was saying, once you read the story, it makes you understand the person a little bit better. Like those are things that are very important for us to continue to shed light. There are so many people in the world who do not know about a lot of mental health illnesses and as well as other types of illness. So I'm grateful that you have written this book. It's a great one. I love it. I love that you guys are doing this. So thank you so much for being on our show today. We wish you guys much success.
Yeah.
Thank you so very much. We appreciate you bringing us up. And
Yeah.
Aquita, just thank you for saying yes. I know Sunday is your day of worship and it's late and your family day, and I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure.
Since your publishers, your writers, every last one of you on the screen, we cannot leave without a quote. So we always close the show with a quote. Some words of wisdom. It could be from the book you published. It could be from a book you read. It could be something you've written. Or it could be just something that you fell into and saw.
I do. Go ahead, Nick. Are you ready to share your quote?
Sure. Mine has and always will be something I remind myself of every single day, which is attitude, not aptitude, will determine your altitude. I don't have the degrees, and I'm learning by the seat of my pants, but I have the right attitude.
I love that. Thank you for sharing that. Dr. Parks, do you have a quote or do you need a minute?
No, I actually have one. It is my closing at from every interview that I ever do. It is a plump, pleasing pleasure, better than a triple decker peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it.
I love that. Very, very cute. Thank you, everyone in the audience that was here. Chris, thank you for joining. Now you've got the recording, so you can go back and watch from the beginning. Thank you, Kinga, for all of your interaction and for joining us tonight. Margaret, we appreciate you. Tim, thank you for being here. All of the people that are watching on Creative Living Ideas Facebook page, on Creative Living Ideas YouTube channel. So thank you so much for watching all of that. Randy, thank you for your interaction. Dr. Marcia, gosh, Linda Gray, thank you. Christy, Sharon, Jackie, just so many amazing people in the audience. We appreciate your support. Adrienne, Lisa, Fevic, we can't do this without you. We appreciate this. Leslie Flowers, you guys are all amazing supporters. We love you being with us every Sunday night. With that being said, we're not here next Sunday. It's Father's Day. So my quote is a Father's Day quote. A great father is a man who takes on responsibility with gratitude and joy. That is my Father's Day quote. I hope all of the fathers in the audience, biological or by marriage or by chance or by coaching or whatever the scenario is, I wish you all a happy Father's Day. Damien, what's your quote?
Oh, that was nice. You should have went last. You should have went last.
Oh,
Here's my quote. It's on the screen. Don't let 10 minutes of a bad moment disrupt the other 23 hours and 50 minutes of your day. Make every minute and every day count. The 2350 Network. It's time to bring people together. This is the 2350 Effect. This is powered by the 2350 Network. Go to the 2350 Network page, sign up, connect with us. And thank you all for your time, your effort, and joining us. And thank you, Mick, for bringing this conversation to the fold. With that said, everyone out there, have a happy, safe Father's Day and enjoy the time with your family or even the memories of the family members who are no longer around. So thank you all and have a good night.
Bye, y'all.
Thank you for attending the 2350 Effect. If you are interested in becoming a guest or a sponsor, please contact Damien or Dr. Tanya. Join us every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the 2350 Effect.